what I have here is a wooden box with some stuff on it, and it's labeled the Omnigraph. The Omnigraph Manufacturing Company, Hudson Street, New York, USA. I don't feel the need to say New York, New York. I've had this for maybe 40 years. It was given to me by a friend. He acquired it at a Pittsburgh auction, but it was an auction house. It wasn't like a business, or I have no history on it. It's got clockwork. It's got a fly ball. There's supposed to be two of them, but there's one. A fly ball governor. And what it's supposed to do, we wind it up. And it's supposed to, there we go. I mean, this thing's all cruddy up. It's covered with dust. This is the on-off switch. You see it rotates this wheel. The wheel was. Okay, the wheel can be replaced. It's merely a friction fit. It's not. It was shiny aluminum at one time on both sides. It sat this way and got a little debris on it. The function of this machine was to teach or test students in either Morse or Continental code. Now, I think this was made in 1905 or so. I have reason to believe this is an early model because it's a single disc model. Now, young teenagers in the United States are pretty smart, and they found themselves, instructors or testers, found that the students memorized the code sequence. So if they could see the number on the disk, they didn't need to listen to it. They'd write from memory. So most Omnigraphs have more than one disk, so they can be stacked. They rotate simultaneously. But it used to bounce off these little code wheels, opening and closing and sending either Continental or Morse code, depending on what the student was being instructed as. The bottom of the box is intentionally open for some reason. This is cut at a bevel. I don't think this is removable. It's not. It's anchored with little brads the whole way around. So I think the only access to be had to this thing is by taking these two screws out. So we have, I can't believe this is original. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to get the camera down here. Type G tested phone condenser, 0.0017 microfarad. With flathead machine screws, that's not right. We've got a wooden box here. Originally, this switch came to these two terminals via these wires. These two screws are the switch screws. Not sure what this screw is. This brass casting appears to hold both of these terminals, but this terminal has an insulating bushing down here. Trying to get this box out. I don't know what it is. The wires at the bottom have been cut off. Certainly wasn't easy to get out. These wires were cut off or detached. I didn't cut them. Is it possibly a battery box? If so, it's an extremely poor design. It's with asbestos insulation. Sort of loose laminations. Wasn't that something? Just right across the contacts with the signal generator. I'll wind it up better. So there we have an Omnigraph. I don't have any clue what Morse code sounds like, or Continental. So if you can read that, put a little dot on it. Can you see that dot? I can. Oh. Now that was one full rotation of the dial. So that's the Omnigraph. They also made one with an electric clock motor that would drive this continuously. You would use that in the airport or in the tallest building in your town to flash a light with a 3-digit airport code on it, so that flyers in the 20s and 30s could tell where they were by looking at the local flashing beacons. And of course you didn't want that to be spring wound. I think this would be a little slower if I replaced the missing ball.